Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we are talking about Excel tips. And today we're going to talk about an important function in Excel. And this is a filter function. Filters function is important because it can allow you to analyze your data in many situations. It is so flexible and can replace many functions like some if, like XLOOKUP or VLOOKUP. And today we're gonna use it to build our financial statement. If you are working in finance on time, you have to build some financial statement like the P&L, the balance sheet, or cash flow statement. I'm in West Africa, and we're gonna use trial balance, and the logic gonna be based on the account numbers, and we're gonna use those account number inside the filter function in order to build our P&L. I'm going to show you the base data. This is the trial balance, and sometimes we have to use this trial balance to build our financial statement. And from this trial balance, we can have the balance of any account at the end of the years. And as you can see here, we can see account starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and so on. So to build the income statement, the P&L, we just need the account number starting from 6, so 6, 7, and 8. And here we break our income statement in some item like the revenue, direct cost, and direct cost, depreciation, financial expenses, income tax. And we're gonna use some number that gonna help us to build the financial statement. For example, for the revenue, I'm gonna add a column here. I'm gonna put some number inside, and those numbers will gonna help me to build my financial statement. For example, for the revenue, I'm putting 70 because 70 is the starting number of account number that register the revenue. So if we go to our database and filter the account number starting with 70, you're gonna have our revenue. Okay, let's do it one more time. Not this. We have to put the X. Yes. All of these are the revenue. So all the account numbers starting with the 70 gonna be our revenue. So I'm gonna use this logic inside my filter function. And for direct cost, I assume account number starting with 60. For indirect cost, that's gonna be a little bit tricky because it includes many account numbers starting from 71, no, 61 to 66. So I'm gonna put the N account number 66. For the depreciation, it's gonna be 68, and for financial expenses, it's gonna be 67, and for income tax, it's gonna be 89. And for the gross profit, EBITDA, EBIT, and net profit, gonna be some calculation to get them. No problem with that. Okay, for the revenue, let's use our filter function. In filter function, we have three arguments. So the first argument is the array. The array is what you want to return. You can return the whole data set, but here we want to return just the amount at the end of the year for the revenue. So before we start, I turn my dataset into Excel table so I can use it in my filter function without going back to the to the sheet every time to select my data. So I can use the table name here, trail balance. I'm going to use this inside my function. So I put filter here, the first argument, it's going to be the amount. So I will type my dataset name, going to be trail balance. And I will select my amount. So inside the bracket, you have to open the bracket, close bracket, and then we gonna pass to the second argument. Gonna be include. What we're gonna include in our filter? We're gonna include our two account numbers starting with the 70. How we do that? We can get that from the trail balance bracket, and we want to select the account, I close the bracket, and here I want, if empty, I'm going to return 0. But here is the problem. Okay, I'm going to be account number should be equal to 70. But here is the trick. Filter function is flexible. We can do some calculation inside the function. This is not possible with SUMIF. So if I do enter here, I don't get something that correct because we don't have in our dataset 70. We have the whole account number. So we should extract the first two number of the account number. So how we do that? We can do it inside the filter function. But before we doing this, let's use our left function. Left function gonna help me to retrieve the first two number of the account number. And let's put 2 and close the bracket. Okay. Um, yes, I shouldn't use this here. Just comma. Yes. That return the first two number of the account number. But the problem with this is I can put it inside my function, and we're gonna do what is the problem. So account number, put 2, close the parentheses, and hit enter. Okay. I should just put the comma not. Okay. This still returning 0. Why? It is because that if we use the left function, the result gonna be a text. So we should 10 here. Excel don't consider this 10 as a number, but a text. Let's put, for example, 10 here, and we try to compare this text, this 10 with the 10 we return with the left function. And we see it is not the same. Why? Because this is a text, this is the problem. So we should use the value to convert those text to number. So put this, and yes, that we returning true here. So I'm gonna use this logic inside my filter function. I'm gonna use the value here. I'm gonna close it here, and okay, that's returning something. That's interesting. Return a list of account number amount starting with 70. But the thing is, I don't need the list, I need the sum. So I'm going to use the sum here to calculate all the amount of account numbers starting with 70. So I have it. Here we have a return a negative number. That's correct because in the 70 we have the negative. So we can multiply this by -1 to return positive number. So we got the revenue, that's correct, and we can copy this for the other For the other line item like the direct cost, depreciation, financial expenses, and income taxes. But for indirect costs, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. I'm gonna show you. So pass the as function here. I'm gonna do this the same here. But before doing this, let's resolve the case of indirect cost. So indirect costs use the same logic, but we have to use the include twice. And I'm going to show you how we can use this trade balance. I'm going to return the amount always. And then we're going to include what always. I'm going to use the left function. And we check on the account number and 2. And then, as I told you, we should use the value to turn them in number instead of text. And here, we don't have to put equal to 66 because we have 6 account number that we should use in indirect cost. We have 71, 72, 73, 74, and 75 and 76. So we're going to use a logic here. We're going to use account number starting with should be okay. Um, should be greater or equal to 61 and we don't have to do comma here because this is the first part of the criteria we're gonna return. We're gonna return the account number that's starting from 71 to 76. So we have to use the second part. So I'm gonna close this with a parenthesis. This is the first part of the criteria, and I can copy this and gonna time and close this here. And for if empty, I'm gonna return 0. But I guess I have to change this. No, it is from account number starting from 61 to 66. So here we have to put less than or equal to 66. Yeah, that's it. So we want the amount of account number starting from 61 to 66. And this is because we use the multiplication sign. So here we are, we can enter, and this is gonna return me all this list, but as I don't want the list, I'm gonna use the sum. Okay, I'm using the sum. Sum and closed parentheses, time minus 1, and here we got it. Yes, absolutely. And to calculate the gross profit, I guess gonna take the sum of the revenue and direct cost, close parentheses. Okay, I'm using this sum correctly. Okay, sum of the two. That the gross profit. And for the EBITDA, it's gonna be the sum of the gross profit and indirect cost. And for the depreciation, we can copy this formula and pass it here. That's gonna give me the depreciation. Yes, absolutely. And to calculate EBIT, we just gonna take the sum of EBITDA and depreciation. We got it. And to calculate the financial expenses, we can copy this formula. And for the income statement as well, we can pass the formula here, and to calculate the net profit, we can sum the EBIT and financial expenses. and income tax. And here we go. We have our income statement. And pretty simple like that. And filter function is so magic, and you can use calculation inside the filter function in order to return a mid-step calculation that can allow you to do the filtering. But you can, before you start, you can extract the first two, the first two number of the account number if you want to do so. But I wanted to show you that you can use the left function inside the filter function indirectly. You don't have to add a step column. You can use it inside the filter function. And here we go. We have our income statement, and we can do the same for the balance sheet. And for the cash flow statement, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but we can still use some filter function to build the other financial statement. So this is filter function, and it is a magic function that you can start using to analyze your data. See you